Once upon a time, on a peaceful farm, a mother duck was hatching a clutch of eggs by a pond. When the eggs hatched, 5 adorable ducklings emerged, all with golden feathers and quacking happily. But the last egg was larger than the rest and hatched later. And when it did, out came a duckling who looked very different. He was bigger, had dull gray feathers, and was very clumsy. And unlike his siblings, he couldn't even swim properly. The mother duck was surprised, but she loved him just the same. However, everyone on the farm, from the chickens and geese to the cows, began to mock him and call him names. Poor duckling became very sad and ashamed. His sibling ducklings would laugh and say, "You're too ugly. You don't look like us." So the ugly duckling decided to run away from the farm. He wandered through the fields, forests, and marshes, but didn't feel at home anywhere. One day, an old woman found him and thought he was a female duck because of his size. She took him to her other farm, thinking that he could lay eggs for her. But the ugly duckling couldn't lay eggs, so the woman grew angry and chased him away. It was then that winter came, and the duckling had to hide in the reeds by a lake to stay warm. He was hungry and cold, and every day he dreamed of a better life. Then one day, as he was watching the snow falling, he saw some beautiful white birds flying overhead. They had long, graceful necks and snow-white feathers. He watched them and wished he could fly with them. He didn't know that they were swans. And as time passed, the duckling grew bigger, but he still felt ugly. One morning, he was swimming in the lake and saw his reflection in the water. He couldn't believe his eyes. No longer was he a gray duckling, but a magnificent swan with white feathers and strong wings. He was no longer ugly. Then the other swans swam up to him and welcomed him as one of their own. The duckling, who was now a swan, was filled with joy and happiness. He realized that he had always been a swan, and that he just needed to find his place with his own kind. From that day on, the children and villagers who lived nearby would marvel at the beautiful swan that lived on the lake. They didn't know that he was the same ugly duckling they had mocked and taunted. So friends, the story of the ugly duckling teaches us that true beauty comes from within and does not depend on how we look on the outside. Even if we are misunderstood or laughed at for being different, we should never give up hope. Everyone has their own unique gifts and talents, and it's just a matter of time before we discover them and find our true selves.